We are joined now by Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin. And let's dive right into it. Is there going to be a shutdown? And if so, Senator, how is it going to impact the average listener of ours out there right now?
So, Clay, thanks for having me on. And yes, I don't see there's any way in the world we can avoid a shutdown. Chuck Schumer is so scared of AOC in his own state running against him that he's willing to hold the American people hostage, because what we're doing here is we're putting a clean CR. Clean CR means it's the same funding, same language that Chuck Schumer voted for 6 months ago, and the same language he voted for a year ago. So nothing has changed, that he's voted already twice on this same funding package, except now he's been threatened that if he votes for it from the left, that they're going to primary him, and AOC is either going to run against him or going to find somebody to run against him. So he's running scared, and he's holding the American people hostage over it. If that happens, and we do go to a shutdown, which, Clay, I don't see there's any way we avoid it at this point. I think we're going to a Chuck Schumer shutdown. It's not really going to affect anybody for the first 2 weeks, and it depends on what is deemed essential and non-essential. That's the president's discretion at the time. But for those in the military, they get paid October 1st. All their paychecks will still go out. They'll be paid in full. On the 2nd is when federal employees get paid. Their paychecks are already processed. They will go out and they will be paid in full. When all Social Security benefits, Medicare, Medicaid benefits will still be intact, still be moving forward, because that's discretionary, or that's mandatory spending, not discretionary. We're fighting over discretionary spending at this point. And so but in 2 weeks, on the October 15th and 16th, if we are still shut down, then federal employees and military won't be paid. Because why? Because you have a career politician, Chuck Schumer, who has decided that his job is more important than keeping the American people and the government funded.
What is the dispute over right now, in a succinct way?
So, as quick as you can put it, the dispute is really over their hatred towards President Trump. So the question is what is their demand? Their demand on funding levels, by the way, that they've already voted for already twice, and they voted for a CR 13 times underneath Biden. The difference now is Trump's in office, and they want to slow walk any policies that he has, regardless that the American people elected President Trump and kicked out their agenda because it was horrible for America. It put President Trump in place in November. What their demand is now is they want to extend a policy that they had put in place during COVID that they could have made permanent, but they knew that it was temporary, to basically subsidize ACA, affordable health care, which, affordable health care is supposed to be affordable, right? But during COVID, they put a subsidy in that waived all requirements, meaning there was no proof of citizenship, there was no proof of income that you needed help or anything. Everybody was eligible for this subsidy, and they funded insurance companies to allow them to sign up people unchecked. And this is a tune of about $350 billion to the taxpayers. Now, COVID is over. And they intended for this to shut down to begin with, because they sunsetted it. They were in control of the government at the time, complete control. They could have made it permanent if they wanted to. They decided not to. And so now they're saying that they want this extended, and we're saying, wait, COVID is over. Why do we need to be paying a subsidy to insurance companies now that are making record profits, which I'm all about people making profits, but why are the taxpayers still subsidizing that? And why are we allowing illegal aliens to get these benefits for free? Because those that came here illegally, they should be getting shipped back. That's what the American people voted for in November. But this extends that coverage to them. Why? Because there's no checks and balances to say that they're eligible or not. They just automatically get enrolled into Obamacare, and that's what Chuck Schumer is fighting for. So basically, to still have taxpayers pay for these illegals to have health care insurance.
We're talking to Senator Markwayne Mullin of Oklahoma. Inevitably, these issues eventually get decided. And by the way, along with virtually everybody listening right now, what Democrats are seeking is absurd. Do you think we'll have a resolution before October 15th, before individuals' paychecks could be impacted?
Well, I always tell people I'm good for a big fight, and a good fight as long as I know what victory looks like and it's possible to win. But if you go into a fight, which is what the Democrats are doing here, what does victory look like for them? Because it's hard for them to explain that a clean CR that they've already supported twice, why they wouldn't why what's different today than it was a year ago or 6 months ago. So I would assume they would come to their senses before that. But you can't reason with crazy, and that's what Chuck Schumer is right now. He's crazy. He's running scared. You got to keep in mind, in 1996, when I was a senior in high school, which was 29 years ago, Chuck Schumer then was a congressman. He went on the House floor and railed against benefits going to illegal aliens that came into this country illegally. That was in 1996.
Oh, yeah.
Now he's willing to shut down the government as a senator and as a Democrat leader over giving benefits to illegals. So you can't rationalize with that kind of thinking. So I would assume that people, cooler heads would come to the table, and they would accept the clean CR. But you can't at this point. You can't rationalize what they're even thinking here. You can't, as my mama said, you can't argue with crazy.
I think that's well said by your mama, by the way. Also, we're around the same age, and a lot of Democrat talking points in the 90s are actually Republican talking points now for people like Chuck Schumer who were involved long enough. I mean, Bill Clinton, heck, 1992 would be a Republican now. I mean, in all seriousness, if you go back and look at it.
Democrat Party for sure.
Yeah. When you look at what happened in the November election about 11 months ago, Trump won a landslide, won all 7 swing states, won the popular vote, kicked Kamala's ass coast to coast. Democrats had 2 choices. One, they could look in the mirror and they could say, as I think a lot of people try to do, I don't know, I know you were involved in sports back in the day. Sometimes you get beat and you say, boy, we really beat ourselves. We didn't execute the game plan we had. We turned the ball over too much. If we had played like we expect to play, we would have won. Your game plan then, you just have to go execute it better. Other times, you get your ass kicked and you're like, boy, that team's a lot better than us. And either we're going to have to change our game plan, change the trajectory, or we're just going to keep getting our ass kicked going forward. Seems to me that Democrats had a choice, Senator. They could look in the mirror and say they heard our message, they didn't like it, and we got beat accordingly. Or they could say, we just got to double and triple and quadruple down on crazy. It seems like they chose the second option, which just means they're going to keep getting their ass kicked, probably even worse.
Well, to use your sports analogy, it's like the kid that gets beat in wrestling, because wrestling's our family, and you get beat and you blame it on the ref every time.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't realize it's part of your practice habits, and it's your training partners, and it's what you put in that you're not getting back out, and so it's easier to blame somebody else, and so you double down on the blame game. Well, that's exactly what's happening here. You're absolutely correct. Instead of them taking a licking and looking back, that's what we call it from Oklahoma, right? You're taking a licking. That's when you get beat. When you get beat and take it and looking back and going, wow. Some of the best lessons learned is when you lose, because if you reevaluate it and you can learn what you did wrong, correct it, you'll only be stronger and better. Or you double down and blame somebody else. They're blaming the American people, the Democrats. They're blaming the American people, saying you got it wrong. You got it wrong. You didn't understand what you voted for. You got it wrong. Well, actually, they didn't. They knew exactly what they were voting against because they had 4 years of it. They had 4 years of embarrassment from an administration that wanted to go away what all American values have always traditionally stood for. They wanted to go away from what America has stood for and move us towards socialism, and it didn't work. It was an experiment that failed. And so now the left is running the Democrat Party. You could go to JFK and you could say the same thing that you did about Clinton. JFK wouldn't belong to this party anymore. And when he says that they're the party of JFK, that's not accurate, because this party is the party of Madami, or however you say his name. A communist socialist. This is a party of AOC and and Bernie Sanders and Jasmine Crockett that go out there and openly claim to be socialists. This is a party of Tlaib and Omar, who is, who they go out there and hate America, and I mean that sincerely. And so you go, where's the Democrat Party today? They got beat because of what they stand for, and the polling shows the Democrat Party's least popular now than they've ever been in history. And you have leaders like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries just leading them down this tumbling path of identity crisis.
What did you think of? I saw your push-up, pull-up challenge, which you absolutely crushed. I think it was like 3 minutes and 40 seconds or something, if I remember it off the top of my. Yeah. I mean, that's ridiculous for anybody, but especially for somebody who's on Capitol Hill. What did you think of Pete Hegseth's address to the warfighters of America this morning?
Hey, man, lead from front, right? When I was running my companies and building my companies every single day, I told my management team, hey, if you want your employees to show up on time, you need to be there 30 minutes earlier. If you want them there at 7:30, you be there at 7. If you want them to work late, you work 30 minutes past they do. If you want them to answer the phone when you call, you better always answer your phone. And by the way, if you want them to show up with a clean shirt and clean pants on every day, then your shirts need to be starched. If we're having, and this is what's always bugged me about coaches too. Coaches are coaching athletes. They have access to every piece of equipment and every trainer that their athletes do. There's no excuse why a coach in football, wrestling, basketball, I don't care what it is, that's out of shape when you're trying to get your players and your athletes in shape. In the military, you're fighting for the heart of our country. You're fighting for the existence of our country. You're protecting the freedoms of those home and abroad. And we should expect excellence. And if you're going to expect excellence, then the generals who's leading from the front need to express that and show that every single day in themselves, because they set the standard. And no one's going to lead or meet that standard unless that leader is meeting that standard too. And so, whatever your expectations are, you need to set yours higher than what everybody else is below. So I commend Hegseth in saying this. We're going to get our butts in shape. Fat generals and fat admirals walking through the Pentagon is no more, and I commend him for that. I actually sent him a text message and I said, Brady, my chest is pumping with pride for what you just said.
Amen. Senator, we appreciate the time. Let us know when you need to come back on, and we appreciate
Anytime.
you sharing the Capitol Hill with us.
Thanks, Clay. See you. Bye.
Yeah, that's Senator Markwayne Mullin with us. And I got to tell you, gold keeps setting record highs. Buy more gold to balance the declining value of the dollar. That's what's happened to a lot of people who have benefited from the rise in gold. We all should own gold in our portfolio, no matter the quantity, large or small, whether it's to diversify your savings and retirement accounts or as a hedge against inflation. Birch Gold Group believes every single American should own physical gold. Today's the last day that Birch Gold Group is making an incredible offer for first-time gold buyers. Birch Gold is offering a rebate of up to $10,000 in free metals on qualifying purchases. To claim eligibility, start the process, request an info kit now. Just text my name, Clay, to 989898. Plus, Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and you're still eligible for a rebate in free metals of up to $10,000. Diversify with gold from Birch Gold Group. Make now your first time to buy gold. Take advantage of a rebate of up to $10,000 when you buy right now. By the end of this month, text my name, Clay, right now for that benefit to 989898. Claim your eligibility to get today. Again, text Clay 989898. That's my name, Clay, to 989898.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And be sure to hit that like button.